Welcome to Northern Virginia, everybody, where it's a warm 39 degrees outside and rainy. So let's talk a little bit about my passion. I absolutely love cycling. It's something that I got into about 7 or 8 years ago now, when I was living in Arizona, and it just clicked with me. I did it originally just to commute, and then it just started. Hey, let's go for a race. So I did the Tour de Tucson twice, which isn't really a race, just a large group ride. So did that twice. Then I moved to California and did quite a few centuries in California. Upgraded my bike, and I'll be doing a bike video here pretty soon about the equipment that I ride and some of the gear that I ride with. I started with an entry-level bike and then upgraded it to a much better, much lighter Italian steed, if you will. Not the total top of the line, but something that is a little bit better than entry level. So another video that I'm going to be doing that's going to be coming up is going to be on where I live. I live in Fredericksburg, and I absolutely love this area. It's awesome. The history is just amazing. We have so much history in Fredericksburg. George Washington's boyhood home is only a few minutes from where I'm at right now. I'm riding on a battlefield right now. Old Town Fredericksburg has quite a few historical buildings and landmarks. There's stairs there from Abraham Lincoln, where I don't know if it was when he was campaigning or if he was just giving an address at some point, but this area is just phenomenal. So back to how I actually got started into cycling. When I lived in Yuma, we were only about 8 miles from where I worked. So we thought, why not get my bike tuned up? At that time, I only had a mountain bike, a crappy Diamondback. So I got it tuned up, and my amazing wife said, well, you know, maybe you should get into a road bike instead of a mountain bike. So I looked into it and got onto an actual road bike, and it was a Scott Speedster, so it was an endurance bike. When I first started riding, I remember the very first day I rode that bike, I got home and I was so sore. And those of you that are into cycling, you remember, most of you will remember your first time riding. The saddle sores that I had were unbearable. And I remember thinking, why on earth would anybody do this? I actually worked with another cyclist who was almost a pro, or semi-pro if you will. And he told me, he encouraged me just to keep with it, and I did. And then I really fell in love with it. And I found that I got good enough that I was almost as fast commuting to and from work on my bike as I was in my truck. So half the days, depending on what I had going on at work, I would just take the bike instead of wasting gas in a truck, which most trucks don't do very good on gas in city driving. So that's what I did. That's how it all started. My wife's uncle actually does cycling. He got me into a lot of this stuff too, and rode with me my first Tour de Tucson and my second Tour de Tucson. One of them was a 56 miler. My second one was a full century. And I felt better because of training and diet on my full century than I did on my first 50 miler. So for those of you that are new to cycling, diet and training are key. And I would say that while training is absolutely key, pacing and your diet will help you feel so much better than just about anything else during your rides. when I moved here to Fredericksburg, I immediately joined a bike club, which I never did anywhere else, to learn a lot of the back roads and some nice trails. And somebody introduced me into some nutrition called Infinite Nutrition, and it absolutely changed the way that I ride and how I do my nutrition on my rides. And I've actually, because of that stuff, I've actually been able to break 5 hours and do a sub 5 hour century, which I was never able to do anywhere else, mainly because of the nutrition. So I'm pulling up here to the end of one end of the Fredericksburg battlefield. I'll pull off and give you guys a quick glimpse of the bike that I ride right now, and then I'll do a full detailed overview of the bike later on when the weather is much nicer and I'm not freezing my tail off. There it is. It's a 2019 Pinarello Prince. It's the T700 carbon with Shimano Ultegra, and I should have turned the bike on, but again, I'll go through much better detail of the bike. Oh, and this is the Fredericksburg battlefield, and there's a cannon. So one of the best things about living in Fredericksburg is that there is history everywhere. Sorry for the choppiness of the video, but cannons all over the place, historical landmarks all over the place with some of the history. I don't live too far from where General Lee had his command post, and right here is where they had a dig out, and there's a bunch of trenches not too far from here as well. Maybe I'll do a tour ride of Fredericksburg and go through a bunch of areas where General Lee had his CP, where George Washington's boyhood home, and a bunch of other things. So maybe I'll do that in the upcoming future when the weather's much nicer and I can tolerate it. Being an Arizona native, I don't do too well in the cold, so I'm pretty bundled up right now, and I'm actually pretty cold. Thank y'all for watching. Let me know what you think. There's going to be more videos coming because this is my absolute true passion. The power wagon is the one that gets me the views, but the riding the bike is what I absolutely love, and this is what has inspired some of my woodworking. If you haven't watched those videos, please go back and watch those videos, because I have a special woodworking video that I'm going to be doing in a very near future. So like, tag, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you for watching.